I'm Dr. Coral Barboza, your Deputy Director, Amity University Online. And today we have Dr. Aishwarya Mahajan, who will be talking on a very interesting topic about the role of youth in sustainable development. And he will also throw some key insights into what is the role of the youth in today's economy, economic development. So before we start, I would request Dr. Ghazal Singh to kindly introduce our speaker for the session.
Very good afternoon to all of you, and I welcome you, sir, from Amity Online. And to all my readers, that's a very interesting topic on which our learner can have this knowledge from Dr. Mahajan. And I got this privilege to introduce, sir. It's my privilege, sir. To all my listeners, let's have sir's profile. Dr. Mahajan has around 25 years of experience with national and international new program development, assessment, behavior strategies about soft skill and personal development training, resource management, client serving skill across domains of quality and livelihood education, and which will really, work tremendous for our students as well, sir. And sir has been involved in designing, developing, managing, implementing, and accessing community-owned and sustainable social development initiatives with various stakeholders like UN organization, International Development Organization, trust and foundations, CSR foundations, various states and central government, and the model program are being successfully running in various Asian, African, Latin American, European countries like India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Cambodia, and the list is long. And all the listener, I must tell you that with this corporate social responsibility and we are getting more aware with the conscious system of doing the business, this experience of sir will definitely going to add a lot of knowledge to your domain. And to further talk about sir's experience, sir is also, with the vast experience in developing social development programs, designing courses and curriculum in sustainability, and ensuring compliance with all the regulatory and other agency requirement laws and statutes pertaining to the programs, and being a researcher by nature. Presently, he is the president of M3M Foundation, a philanthropic arm of one of the India's leading real estate M3M group. Now, this name is very popular among the students also, sir. So they will definitely going to relate. And thank you for having on this board. And we are very delighted to hear you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ghazalji, and thanks to all the Amity staff, Dr. Barboza, especially Jasbir, for coordinating and connecting me and giving me this opportunity to interact with these students. And I was happy to have this particular topic, which is really close to my heart, when we say role of youth, because it's only youth who can drive, you can say, the nation or the society or now if we talk about the world. So it's about youth only. And how the sustainable development is related with youth, this is what I think we can discuss today. So I will, get into only some discussions. I will share some stories, some success stories, some experiences, some examples, so that people can understand and they can try to relate. The idea is to motivate our young students to think on the sustainable development point of view and how they can contribute towards this development with their own ideas and how others have done. So I think that is what I'm going to talk about. And if you allow me, we can start with the discussion.
Sure, sir. We are very delighted to hear you. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, when we discussed about the sustainable development, it's sometimes, it looks like a jargon, a very huge word, sustainable development, what it is, how it is, what are the, its components and all. I will not get into all those things. I will just start with very small stories, which I feel are something where we need to look into that. So I'll just move forward. Okay. Now this is a story of Trisha Shetty. She is leading on a topic where no one wants to speak about, which is basically the, you can say, the women empowerment. And the women empowerment, again, what she has taken up the responsibility to talk about, to work with girls, those who are the victims of the sexual assault, maybe maximum, you can say, the rape victims. So she started her work in 2015. She has created a platform to educate, rehabilitate, and empower women to take direct action against sexual assault in India. And she has established a platform called She Says, and which is a uniquely provided tools. There are separate resources which she has designed, which help people with, or you can say the victims of this sexual assault with legal, medical, and psychological support. And you will be happy to note that she is the one who has started a campaign which was called Lahu Ka Lagan a few days back. If you look into that, and the petition is still in the Supreme Court, and this PIL is being discussed and debated and got a lot of support, where she is fighting for there should not be any tax on the sanitary pads. Why we have to pay taxes on the sanitary pads? So now this is something, which this story which talks about what she has done and how she is now doing and driving. So there is another story of this boy, which is called Karthik Sarni. He is blind, since he has born. And when he was preparing for his examinations, when he was preparing for IITs, no IIT in India was ready to take him. And guess what? Now he went to Stanford. He studied his, thing. Now in artificial intelligence, this boy is doing wonders. So he has taken the technology at different level. He has become the ambassador for people with disability, and they should not be stopped for the opportunity. And he has created an organization which is called nextbillion.org. So Next Billion is you can say it's a mentorship program which is helping students with disability, those who are interested in technology, and helping with mentors in more than 10 countries now. So this is the kind of work which is happening with, you can say, if they really want to do something, they have created. So these are the stories which has been recognized at the international level. They have got, they have become the United Nations Young Leaders Ambassadors. And since 2016 to 2022, there are, I think, 7 Indian young leaders have become the ambassadors at that level. I think we need to learn, we need to read those stories if we want to understand. Now, there is another story, which is again very close to, my heart, and I really like to discuss about this girl. There's a place called Bundelkhand in Madhya Pradesh, and where, if you see, the water is a biggest problem. And the village where Babita belongs to, these women of this particular village have to travel too long to get the water for their household chores. Now she has decided that she will do something. And there was a big hill in between to go to that place. She worked with 100 women. She got them together with the support of a local NGO, And then she has actually made through the hill and created that opportunity. And this dried up pond nearby their canal, they have created that, and the water has reached to their doorstep. It is again a small idea which she has worked on, and she tried to look into that. So her village, she thought of the problem and she tried to become, get the solution for the problems. Then again, this person, which is called Premunshi Thakur. Now we have heard about, I'm not sure how many we have heard about this one complete solar village in India. This, which is in, again, Modhera village in Gujarat. Now, which is known for its sun temple. But how this village has become the first solar temple, this is all the leadership, or you can say the dedication of this person. Now, more than 1,300 rooftop solar systems have been established there. And the ground mounted solar power plant is there, which is helping the people to generate the electricity, what they are looking into that. The story has been picked up, the previous story also, and this story also has been picked up by our Honorable Prime Minister, and he has also talked about these interventions, how they have helped the villagers and how they have contributed in the overall development of the society. Now, this is again another story of this young boy. His name is Bilal Ahmed Dahar. Kashmir is known for its beauty, known for its lakes. And in Bandipura, there is a lake called Gular. And this lake, single-handedly, this boy has cleared 12,000 of garbage from that particular, lake, single-handedly. And now he has become the ambassador, cleanliness ambassador for, Kashmir. It's again what he really wanted to contribute. He wanted to contribute towards the society. He really wants to work for its issues which he have identified. I'll also share few of some recent visits where I went to a science exhibition of a school, where a school boy, he came with an idea where he shared with me a household survey, where he presented me, or he has presented a model where he said this survey which is happening, and every time, because people are not there in the houses, they have to go out to work for their daily work, and when the survey people, they are coming, they are not able to collect the right data. So what he has done, he has come out with the solution of a QR code idea. 9th class student has come up with this idea. If you can put up a QR code outside your home, people can come and collect the information whatever way they wanted to have it. It's again a idea on which now this boy is working with this kind of soil scholarship which we are providing. There was another one boy who has come from a rural village of Odisha, and he has designed a solar-based lighting system, which he said that my village has not seen this kind of electricity and services. I want to develop and I want to take it back to my villages. So what I point out here is, how, what makes these people different from, other youth? How do you see that? So first thing is, they are critical thinkers. So they are thinking, they are looking at a problem. They are trying to understand how this problem can be addressed. And then their thinking is different from a, kind of, okay, whatever is there, we have to deal with that. Now, the other thing is, they are innovators. How this idea can be taken up. So you need to look from that perspective. So innovation is something which comes from critical thinking. When you think differently, when you try to address the problem differently, when you try to look for solutions, then only innovations actually come forward. Then in that process, they become the change makers. They really want to change the situation. They really want to change the scenario. They really want to change the overall perspective in which these things are happening. Then they become good communicators. They try to communicate what they really want to do. This communication can happen with various ways. And this is where the strategies work. You need to plan your work. You need to get into various other things. So how you communicate about your idea, which you have got from your thinking, what innovation you have got into your idea, how you are going to change the overall status of that particular situation. And then with this communication, you become in this whole process, you become the leader in that change making process. So this is what these stories which I have shared with you, these people have tried to work out on those stories, these ideas, and they become the leaders in the whole process. Now, in this process, they started learning and they have started doing research, because it's a continuous process. If you think, you can't, set back, overthink, or just to leave things in that way. So a lot of research is required. You have to get into that. Your learning needs to take place. And then when you do that, you have to reach out to right kind of people. Your networking, who are trying to get into these kind of solutions. Is there any example? Is there anything which is available? Now, with the help of technology, we have immense opportunities to reach out to many like-minded people, organizations, institutions, those who can help you to come together to identify with the similar kind of issues and problems and try to address those issues. Then it is basically, they have to identify their community where they are going to start their action. So if you look at the previous examples where someone has identified the community of rape victims, someone has identified the community of blind people, someone has identified women who are going or struggling to get resources or water for their houses, someone has identified the community of people who are putting garbage in the lake. So this is how they need to identify, and they have identified with which set of people or community they are going to work. And then their actions are oriented with this kind of community. They identify the stakeholders, they work, they try to do their actions, they design their strategies, and they are consistent and resilient. They never look back. They don't, look for the problems. They don't look at the struggle or obstacles which they are, facing. They always are consistent. They look into their, their challenges. They fight with them. They overcome on that, and then they bring the solution to the problem. And I'm not saying every time you get success. Yes, you fail, but that failure also gives you more courage to move forward and to reach to a level where you really want to take the program, where you really want to reach out. Now, the principles, on if you look at on what these young leaders have worked out, the inclusivity, so leaving no one behind, means whatever they do, they think of the last mile people. They think for a person who is the last standing, who is standing in the last in the row. So that's the first principle on which all your ideology works. The another thing is keeping a sustainable future in mind, means how the activities are going to impact and how activities are going, or actions are going to be sustained, where when you look into your actions, it should not be stopped in a way. You have started here and it is going to stop. So the process has to continue, and then people have to take the leadership, and you have to create more leaders into that. Then again, those who are affected with their actions, they need to include into the whole process. And that is the, you can say, the key success of this program. So you need to link these activities with your previous examples where we have talked about how these activities have been designed. So if you take the example of Trishti, so as she says, they have taken the sexual, assault, victims of sexual assault, and then they have tried to work with them. They have tried to understand their problem, and still it is continue. People, those who are working in that, they are getting so many challenges, the kind of work they are doing. They are into continuous, you can say the progression of their work, what actually they are doing. Now, whenever because it's a small initiative which you start, and actions should be oriented that we can create an example which can help the government policies to impact, or which can help government to design or draft policies in that particular issue. Because what we are trying to do, we are trying to address the problems. We are trying to address the issues of certain, you can say, the obstacles for the development which we have faced, and we are trying to address that. And with that, we need to keep three things in mind: economic, social, and environmental sustainability. And that is what people have kept in mind when these young leaders have tried to address the issues of development, or you can say the sustainable development. Now, when we talk about economic sustainability, so this implies a system of production that satisfies present consumption levels without compromising future needs. This is very important to understand. What is happening nowadays, we are not trying to understand with the current development, because in the race of development, we are not keeping eye on the future situations or future needs. We are talking today about climate action. We are talking today about global warming. We are talking about many other issues. But these issues, because we are not using the concept of economic sustainability in the production. And what is happening now? Natural resources are not infinite. You have to use those resources which will help you. So you cannot, you can say, the exhaust all the natural resources, and the scale the economic system is going. I think this is going to be a disaster if we don't look into, or if we don't look for the development which is which aligns with the concept of economic sustainability. Now, other concept which we are talking about is the social sustainability. So it is basically notions of equity, empowerment, accessibility, participation, cultural identity, and institutional stability. And if you talk about these notions, it means what we are talking about, it is resources or the development should be equal for everyone. So it relates to a nexus between social conditions such as poverty and environmental destruction. So if you work in a way, if you try to address the economic sustainability, it has to sustain, it has to look from the social sustainability point of view as well. So social sustainability is not about ensuring that everyone's needs are met. Rather, it aims at providing enabling conditions for everyone to have the capacity to realize their needs if they so desire. Anything that impedes this capacity is considered a barrier and needs to be addressed in order to individuals, organization, or community to make progress towards social sustainability. So social sustainability also encompasses many issues such as human rights, gender equality, and equality or public participation and rule of law, of which promote peace and social stability for sustainable development. So economic sustainability, and then we are talking about social sustainability. So it means social harmony. It means equal distribution of resources. Equal distribution of resources means social harmony and social sustainability. And third thing which we talked about is environmental sustainability, which is about the natural environment and how it remains productive and resilient to support human life. So when we say environment sustainability, it is basically ecosystem integrity and carrying capacity of natural environment. It's again the demand and supply. So your natural resources are very limited. So if you harvest more, if you exhaust all your natural resources, if you don't look at those resources, and if you use, and then it is going to be, it is not the development which we are looking into, the kind of thing which we are talking about. So it must be harvested no faster than they can be regenerated, while waste must be emitted no faster than they can be assimilated by the environment. So this is the bottom line in which we need to look at the environment sustainability. However, the quest for unbridled growth is imposing ever greater demands on the earth system and placing ever greater strain on these limits, because technological advancement may fail to support exponential growth. Evidence to support concerns about the sustainability of the environment is increasing. The effects of climate change, for instance, provide a convincing argument for a need for environmental sustainability, which is we have been talking about. You can say so many organizations, institutions, missions, which are coming for only for this particular issue. So social, economic, and environment sustainability, when we discuss on this, so sustainable development, if you club all these together, this can only be achieved by restricting human activities. When we say human activities, because whatever are happening, it is the responsible are we. We are utilizing, we are exhausting these resources. We need to restrict our activities in looking at economic, social, and environmental sustainability. Now, technological development should be input effective and not input utilizing. So that is again, this means we need to be very careful in our technology if we are investing, how effective this is, not what maximum resources or what maximum things we are utilizing or we are putting into that. So it's basically the less investment, more outcome. The rate of consumption should not surpass the rate of salvation. And that is what the environmental sustainability we talked about. We have limited resources. We should not. We know the capacity of, regeneration. How much can be, natural resources can regenerate, how much they can, take forward. And this is where we need to be very careful, during the consumption. And for renewable resources, the rate of consumption should not surpass the rate of production of renewable substitutes. This is again the same what we talked about. And all types of pollution should be minimized, because pollution, when we say pollution, it means the environmental sustainability is not there and it is not happening. And it can be achieved by sensible use of natural resources, which we have already talked about, because everything in the sustainable development ultimately reached out to economic, social, and environmental sustainability. So now, while discussing all these things, hearing all those stories, why these people have done, how they have done, what things they have kept in mind, what kind of activities they have done. So it is basically, I discussed in the beginning, I will not get into the jargons of that. We want to understand, everything on the very simple ways. Very simple ways. It is basically, if we say sustainable development is nothing, it is an approach to the economic development of a country without compromising with the quality of the environment for future generations. So it's very clear. So what does it mean? So in the name of economic empowerment, the price of environmental damage is paid in the form of land degradation, soil erosion, air and water pollution, and deforestation. So sustainable development is nothing. It is basically an approach where we are trying to keep the use of resources. We are keeping the use of natural resources, especially or environmental resources, for the future generation, keeping that in mind. And all our actions in that sense should get into the same direction. Now, why youth? Because we have talked about, so I'm sure we are clear by now, what is sustainable development in very simple terms. So now the topic which we have kept is role of youth and sustainable development. So why youth? So definitely, if you talk about United Nations operational definition, they have kept the age group of 15 to 24, where they are saying this is, they are considering youth in that particular youth group. So we consider youth as flexible category. Wherever youth by heart or youth by mind, now that can be discussed, and I don't think there's a kind of debate on that. But with that kind of definition, if we talk about, still 1.8 billion people between the ages of 10 to 24 are there in the world, which is again the largest generation of youth in the history are going to be there. Close to 90% of them live in developing countries, where they make up large proportion of the population. And their numbers are expected to grow between 2015 to 2030, this period, because it is the period where we have kept the SDGs in mind. So 1.9 billion young people are projected to turn 15 years old in that. So connected to each other like before, young people want to and already contribute to the resilience of their communities, proposing innovative solutions, driving social progress. So this theory, basically the youth, those who are getting to that, they will become the torch bearers of the issue of sustainable development, because it is, those who are going to face the heat in the coming future, and youth had to take, everything in their hands, what they really want to take it forward. So that is where what we say, that if we provide the necessary skills or the opportunities to this particular youth like you, then you can become the driving force for supporting development and contributing to the peace and security. There are youth-led organizations now who need to be encouraged and empowered to participate in translating the 2030 agenda, which is the Sustainable Development Agenda, into local, national, and regional policy. And that is where efforts needs to be done on that particular side. So with all this, what is happening, I would now further move to what, as an organization, people are doing. So this why youth, when we talk about, every 2 years, 17 young change makers are being recognized at the international level by UN. So the stories which I shared, about Karthik and Trishti, they are one of the young change makers. So 17, because you have 17 sustainable development goals, and that's the UN. And there are a couple of other youth organizations or youth platforms which has been created by the, you can say, by the UN or the other, international level platforms have been created for youth. So every 2 years, you will get to know these young leaders, and their stories are really inspiring. If you can look into that, you will maybe, we may find many other young leaders. And keeping that in mind, that's where M3M Foundation, we are also helping, and we are working with people to support and to help them in certain areas, which is education, health, livelihood, and environment. And with this, aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals. So with the economic empowerment of marginalized communities for sustainable development, with this mission, we are trying to ensure the resources required for marginalized communities, where everyone is empowered and equipped to reach their maximum potential to plan, implement, monitor, and contribute to sustainable development communities with the values of equity, empathy, inclusion, collaboration, and trust. And there are a couple of programs which you can go through our websites and platforms where you can see the programs are designed in a way that every program actually aligned with economic, social, and environmental sustainability, which align with the 2030 agenda. So this is the reach where almost 22 states, 3 union territories, 60 districts, 778 villages, 3M Foundation has reached. And then we have to promote the sustainable development, to work with social innovators, to work with these youth. We have a program called Mashal, which I want to talk about here, because this is a program which actually helps the young innovators, where social innovation in social, cultural, and environmental challenges. If anyone, any youth who want to, bring that innovation, we are helping them with their ideas to experiment. And that is how the element collaborative, strategic, and sustainable social innovation we are promoting, and we are helping such young innovators. And every year, we actually support 10 such innovators through our program, and up to 5 lakh of scholarship, or you can say the fellowship, we provide to experiment these young innovators. And within that, again, because it is again linked with what we have discussed previously, this is a young boy, Ratnakar Sahu from Odisha, who is working with street children of Odisha. And this youth have actually reached out to various street children. He is helping them to overcome on poverty. He is helping them to get into quality education. He is helping them to work with them with the quality of life and their families, to ensure their social status. Then there is another this story of these two girls, Palak and Vijay Lakshmi. Thus, in COVID, they have decided to work on the issue of mental health, and they, with the name of Saday Sehdev, this idea of helping people with their skills. They have created a volunteer database of the mental health experts, and they are working with them. And that's where they are, this program they have designed, It's Okay Not to Be Okay. And in Delhi, they are doing wonderful work with the support of, and the foundation has supported them as well. There's another person, Surendra, who has taken the responsibility of changing behavior of people for the waste. And he has named this initiative as Arth Rakshak. And in Kanisa Panchayat in Gujarat, he is actually working with 450 families on the waste segregation, where he is collecting that waste. And with this collection, he is now getting into recycling of waste and other kind of, this initiative is taking to now 2-3 more villages. Why I'm sharing these stories? Because this is actually a sustainable development, and this is the role of youth in this particular, program. So sustainable development in itself is not a big or difficult concept to understand. Sustainable development in itself is, as I said, is an approach, to see how our actions are towards economic, social, and environmental sustainability, how our actions are for the benefit of the larger communities, bringing or taking all the communities together. So that is how we are moving into that. So if you go to the UN Global Development Goals, so these are the global development goals where we are talking about no poverty, then where we are talking about quality education, climate action, inclusivity, clean water, then life on land. You have these all 17 available global development indicators or global development goals, which you can look into that. So what to close on the discussions, what we talked about on this thing, what I want to say is sustainable development is very important because it is the future. When you talk about development can't be alone development, it has to be sustainable. And youth's role, no one can deny, because it is only youth who have to fight for himself, and they have to take the lead, and they have to become the torch bearer. So I will close the presentation or this discussion by saying this, that we cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. And that is something which we are also trying to do. We are trying to work as an organization, and this is how we are trying to work on that. So thank you very much, and I'll be happy to take the question.
Thank you, sir. It's been such a pleasurable and thought-provoking example that you have given. One thing I really want to add from all of us, from all the learner, that you had shared that common people are actually the building block of creating the sustainable system. And being, sometimes we actually look upon us and say that, no, we cannot do such a big change. And you have, changed this thought that this is just an approach. Everybody can be participative in this. And secondly, that, the common youngster who are doing such a great change, you have given their name on this, platform. Everybody is going to, get inspired from that. So thank you for, giving us this bright knowledge, and that we can, also inculcate all this thing, and we can add this approach in our living also. So thank you so much. And over to you, Neha ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ghazal ma'am. Hello, sir. My name is Professor Neha Tandon, and everyone, I'm faculty from Amity University Online. So, sir, there are few questions from the students, and before that, I would like to say that this is the excellent topic that we have listened to you on, and the examples you have given are completely phenomenal. Many of the questions were answered through those questions, that how to deal with this challenge of sustainability. There are various studies going on that how to bring sustainability in every aspect, like marketing, finance, and research is going on in universities like anything. So thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us on this topic. So there are few questions, and I have found one question which is very peculiar, that there are common but differentiated responsibilities of different countries in sustainable development, which means that if a country has polluted more this earth, then they have more responsibility. So, sir, does it go for the citizens of a country as well? The one who is creating more pollution should work more towards the eradication also.
See, it's basically what you are talking about, again, the net zero concept, which has come,
Yes.
where, countries are asking you, you need to reach to a level where you need to generate, the oxygen of that level, where the carbon dioxide, which you are doing. So I personally feel, and that's where the sustainable development comes, as I shared in the discussion and presentation also. Every individual, if they take the responsibility that my actions will be only on the sustainable development point of view, keeping all these things in mind: economic, social, and environmental sustainability, all, things will place apart. Your actions will speak about, you will keep that in mind. Okay, does this going to impact the future generation? Thus my action will, impact my, the children also. So if you keep that in mind, definitely it will go. So there is no law, or I don't see till now if there is any law that you have to, but as a responsible citizen, we need to look into that, and our action should be in that line.
Sir, so the second question is in line only what you said right now, that what do you think should be the policy initiatives towards this step, that there should be net zero emissions, or there should be less pollution, or sustainable environment should be there? So do you think that enough policy measures are not taken yet, or what should be the correct policy measure taken by the government?
See, if you look into that, we are part of the Paris Convention. A lot of other things are already happening. So it is not only in the climate side which you are talking about. There are enough policies which has been made. The only thing is, how are we following those policies? Are we, getting into that? So I think that's very important. And in the policy framework, because it's a burning issue. It's an international level debate, discussions which are happening. You have various forum which has been created. You have various, committees which has been formed where India is part of or leading in certain committees. So I don't see at the policy framework level or formation level, there is any challenge. The only challenge is at the level of implementation and following those policies. So we have to look into that, and definitely, as I said, these needs to keep into mind about the future generation. Our actions, that's if you talk about production, what kind of production we are seeing? Are the production, whether electronic gadgets and other things, we have come into refrigerators, air conditioners. Now you are keeping in the mind of your, technology has come to reach to that level where you are trying to address those particular issues. Your vehicle engines are coming, you are, moving towards at that side. You are reaching to from petrol, diesel to electric vehicles. All these things are there, and it is taking time, and we have kept a certain timeline to reach to net zero. And when you say net zero, it means to address the sustainable development, and that's the agenda. By 2030 we have kept, if we can reach to that particular level.
Sir, we are sure that by 2030, this government would try to bring renewable energy to such a level that we can reach those goals, because I think 1000 gigawatt was what promised by our Prime Minister. Let's see if that could be achieved or not by 2030. So that is obviously quite ambitious in itself. So, sir, what are the possible challenges for youth to implement all the strategies you have just told us? What are the possible challenges and how they can fight with these challenges?
See, challenges definitely, as I shared with you, and I can see a lot of questions are also coming in the question boxes also. Challenges are how to do that. How.
Yes,
so it's how is, again, if Babita would have thought of how, she just thought of that there's a problem of water in my village. I really want to address that. And then she got into that. And what she did, she discussed with the, women in the village. Okay, this is the problem. What can be done if we work on certain things? Then she find another. And that's where I said networking. So you have to network, then right communication, how you are communicating to the people, and then the organization. There are organizations which are ready to support these kind of ideas and innovations. And that's where I shared the Mashal Fellowship also. So yes, those youth, even, those who really want, they look at any problem, they want to come up with a solution, they have some idea, they really want to take it up. Just work it out, work on that, reach out to us. M3M Foundation, you go to the website, there is a program column, you can go there, you can reach to Mashal. When you go, then there is a, application format where you can go and submit your idea. And definitely people are, submitting, and we are helping certain, yes, there is a process selection, but we can definitely help them. So there is no, yes, the idea is funding, from where we will get the funds. So everything is not related to funds. If you start, first is idea. You have to have the idea. So if you have the idea, if you have that resilience, if you have that consistency, if you have that passion to address that, then you can do that.
Sir, I would just say that this was the need of the hour. The organization, the initiative you have taken is need for whole world, because July was the hottest month on the entire earth so far. So far, we have never witnessed a hottest month than July this year. So this kind of initiative is surely needed by whole world right now. And sir, with this, I would like to thank you for coming here. So everyone, today we had with us our honorable guest, Dr. Aishwarya Mahajan, President of M3M Foundation, and our respected Deputy Director, Dr. Coral Barbosa, and all of the faculty members and all the participants. You had been wonderful participants. We had been receiving questions from you, and I hope all the questions have been addressed nicely by Dr. Aishwarya Mahajan. So, sir, it was such a great honor for me to get the opportunity to thank you on the behalf of Amity University Online. I would like to extend our great gratitude to you for taking out your precious time and giving it us from your busy schedule and enlightening students about Mashal, your initiative, which is really needed at today's point of time. You have given your thoughts on role of youth in sustainable development. So I would just like to say thank you to our chairman, sir, as well, for giving us opportunities of expert talk sessions in which we can have such guests who can enlighten us on the topics which are need of the hour for not just India, but for the whole world. And our students are quite global. They are from various parts of the world. So these topics belong to all of the students equally. So I would also like to thank here our director, sir, Professor Abhinash Kumar, for starting these expert talk sessions. So, sir, thank you so much. And we have been really pleasured to have this talk from you, and all the examples you gave would leave a great impact on all of our lives forever.
Thank you very much. And still, if there are any questions, all the students, those who are, attending this session, they can reach out to us on M3M Foundation or my LinkedIn page, and I'll be happy to answer. And I'll be happy if, students from Amity can come with the kind of, proposal to address any issue with the sustainable development. So I'll be happy to support. So no issues.
Sure, sir. Amity's inclination towards environment protection is really very high, and we are always working towards it. Whether it is our infrastructure or it is our teaching pedagogy, we always focus towards it. So definitely students are going to approach you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.